We're live.
I expect the best and nothing less. I expect the best and nothing less. I expect the best and nothing less. I expect the best and
I expect all the possibilities. I expect positive energy. I expect with no regrets. I visualize it all. Know it's coming. Yeah, I can see the ball drop. New year, no money. I'm everything. Not partially. I'm synergy. I reach every dream and love my enemies. Everything here is a lesson. Everything that comes to me counts as a blessing. No.
I expect the best and nothing less. 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 I expect the best for my life and this spread goodbye. If I put in the work, I expect the prize.
Woosah! Hola, hola, ladies and gentlemen. Good day, buenos dias. It is Woosah Wednesday. That was Chris and Teeb. I expect. Tell you a little bit more about that selection a little later. We're going to kick it off with opening the room, creating a safe space, starting with I'm an Assist Solution.
Greetings. Let's bow our head as that is in your comfort. We just like to come to you Most High to thank you for this time, this space, this protected place. May we exist in infinite respect, infinite love, infinite compassion, and infinite honor in all views and thoughts expressed in this space. We, again, claim this space as protected energy, as protected space. Ache 13.
In honor of Woosah Wednesday, we're taking it right back to the beginning.
Yes.
And we are at the Smokadocious layer.
Yeah.
And so with that, we'd like to say welcome to the honorable one, the Smokadocious one, to Woosah Wednesday in 2023.
2023, that's what it be.
That's what it be. Welcome, Prime Minister Smokadocious.
Thank you. I appreciate it. The love that is felt here is overflowing with harmony, abundance, and peace. These two people are walking testimonies that God is real and that we are definitely here for a purpose. So I am very grateful and very appreciative that they've brought me into this space as well.
Ache.
I love you, Smokey.
Ache.
So on this Woosah Wednesday, we are talking about, and let me also interject, we do have, I'm Minister Oyeyemi. I don't know what happened to the call, but if you want to call back in, we're going to go ahead and merge you right back in. We have I'm Minister Reddy. You with us?
Yes, I am here. Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
Appreciate being here on this Woosah Wednesday. Peace and love and wholeness to everyone. Much thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Ache. I'm Minister Ready, so you ain't gotta get ready.
That's what it is. So we played that song. We opened up with that song, and it was funny because here at the Smokadocious layer, it's like this is a magical space where the spiritual work is a constant, and so you rise up with the word and expressions of positivity and really setting yourself up for goodness. So it's always good to be here and soak in that. Yes. And so she was reading the word of the day, or one of the words of the day, and it was talking about expectation.
You always have you always magically have what you need at the Smokadocious layer.
That's the truth.
Yes.
And it's just a reflection of life. Yes. It reminds us that we always have what we need. Yes. And so the word was expectation. She
was reading.
Did you find it?
Yes. You can read it.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, because I struggle with reading.
Okay, well, can you loan me your eyes?
Can I loan you my eyes? Absolutely.
You're seeing
What's the date today? Is 25th?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm Mr. Jameson is in the building.
JBZ.
So this was the word that we rose to today. I realized the presence of God. Expectancy speeds progress. Therefore, I live in a continual state of expectancy. No matter how much I am experiencing today, I expect greater good tomorrow. I expect to meet new friends. I expect to meet new and wonderful experiences. I know that when I live in harmony with the divine presence in and around me, I will be protected by its power. No harm can come to me when I know that God is at the center of everything. Achoo.
Powerful.
I expect.
Powerful. It's powerful.
I expect the best and nothing less.
Yeah.
So that's how it has begun.
Yes.
One of the things that we are talking about today, the topic of the day is removing the labels. And if you haven't checked it out, you got to check out the discussion that I'm Innocent Solution has on removing the labels. It's very thought-provoking things that will get you to thinking about where you are in your life. I'm Innocent Solution. You want to give us that discussion topic, or read that discussion topic so they know where we're at. I know I kind of put him on the spot a little bit.
You want me to read the exact?
Oh, you can just read it.
The
where we're pulling from at Master Vibration 13. Yes, removing the labels. You could either pick a piece. You want to read the whole thing. So for the people that are not at mastervibration13.com. Hola, welcome. I'm Minister Doris.
I wrote removing the labels. I guess I'll read the whole. Well, I'll read a piece.
Okay.
Names, titles, labels, and other words of distinction are used to provide familiarity in our society. These same words of distinction oftentimes provide those of the public the freedom of leniency and excuses in our existence, which has created confusion and chaos. And what I was meaning by that was, it seems that I know even in my own regard, my truth has had a sliding sense of existence in regards to who I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's you could say whether it's a supervisor, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it, whatever, you're the truth that you may hold in accountability or speaking on a topic can be manipulated or maybe not even discussed, depending on which name, title, label, or distinction is in front of you.
Mm-hmm. And that's the truth. It's a program that has been created for the reason of control. You respect labels,
Right.
You respect authority, you have, if the pastor of a church says something, and then if the pastor of the church
Right.
does something, what you do, you look the other
You
way
just-
because
you
you
just-
don't have the authority to even
Right.
say, look, pastor,
Right.
what you doing?
Right.
And just like a teacher, if the teacher is telling you something, you're not supposed to question that because that's
Right.
the teacher.
Right.
I know in my upbringing, I grew up Catholic, and also my father was a Santero, but then he turned Pentecostal. And when he was Pentecostal, it was like straight up, you don't question the Bible. You don't ask, nope, this is what it says, that's the word, and that's that. And if you ask a question, you're a heathen. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and so it taught me early that there were certain things that were taboo, and I can't,
Yes.
when somebody does something, or even when, you get introduced to certain family members, and it's like, oh, this is so-and-so. And so when
that's don't be left with freaky Uncle Johnny. You know how Uncle Johnny get when he around just kids,
Yeah, and everybody has these allowances that they make because somebody has a title or a label, and you carry that on throughout your whole life. It's like, oh, the police, you can't. That's the authority. That's the ultimate, authority. So it's like we grow up feeling fearing these labels and these titles, that energy. And so it causes us to close up and be completely susceptible to control.
Interesting when you were saying that. I was trying to find a piece of paper so I could write down my thought, but the programs that are associated with these titles, labels, words of distinction are what our society or the system has created to totally create how we move, navigate, and exist in this type of environment. You know what I mean? I was like, wow. It's interesting when you said that, because I have seen those who society considers as just not able to hold it together mentally, and they're supposedly insane or even crazy, and they're able to figure out that badge means something. So I'm like, man, that's deep. I mean, I still have seen something that's been really totally like, they give no you-knows, because their mind is totally not able to connect with that program, and it's broken those chains, and it doesn't abide by any type of
absolutely 100%.
statutes.
One thing that I do want to put on the table, because this is the one that we could all relate to, and it's going to be a lot easier for us to put fingers on things when it comes to our own experience, and that is the connection and these allowances that we make in our families.
Oh yes, that is the when I think about your family, when you say family, you're going to make, how many people that don't make excuses or make, arrangements, we'll say, in regards to how we speak and deal with the family, you know what I mean? As opposed to, just those of the public.
That's a large percentage.
That's huge.
And when you remove these labels, you're looking at something completely different.
Energy.
You're looking at the energy of the situation. And so it gives you another dynamic. I'm gonna kick it off with just my story real quick of how important it was for me to remove labels. I grew up in a household where look, the mother is everything. It's always been everything. The mother is a very powerful force that you
make accountability.
Yes, you're gonna make accountabilities for your mama. Don't you talk about my mama? Don't you all of these things? So we have these things already in us from the womb, because that's how it's supposed to be.
She gave you the biggest
absolutely.
gift. You can never replay.
Right.
You can never repay.
Ever.
So you susceptible to that out the gate.
And so the powers that were chose to damage
That's
bond
a huge debt.
immediately.
if you want to call it.
Yes, that is a huge debt. They chose to damage that bond immediately.
Right.
And in that damage, it created a flow. So once you damage the mother, you damaging everything. So that's why we have to fix that first.
Right.
And so in my experience, in my situation, I grew up in a my mother was damaged, as so many mothers are, right?
Man,
but
shout out to Daddy that came. We all, I know you like that, LK. We all damaged.
Yes.
But going back to you.
So in my situation, the mother that I was blessed with, and I love my mother and I honor my mother, but she's the individual that in her damage, we grew up knowing that, and this has come from her mouth, I could be the biggest bitch in the world, and you got to deal with it because I'm your mother. And so in that, I sat with that. And then as an adult, I had to make a decision of, do I do that and sacrifice and compromise myself? And now I'm a mother, right? And is this what I want to teach, my offspring to be? Or do I stand my ground and I make a correction in my life with respect? Because I never have disrespected my mother. Well, of course, she would probably say something different, but
everybody has their own definition of respect. We can do as best we can.
Absolutely. So that was something that I needed to fix in me, so that I could not just work on myself, but now, years later, I'm realizing so that I can help her, as well, without her even knowing, because my mom is 80 years old and she is who she is. And
she probably can't evolve in her consciousness to advance past the limitations of where her mentality and her thought process exists. I assume when you think, I believe that you can, teach, or if someone's available, that whole you can't teach. Oh, I don't old dog new tricks. I don't believe that, but I definitely can see where you're seeing someone and how they move, and you're like, I don't know if they're gonna be able to make that pivot to advance and see another type of thought process. Not saying they're wrong, but to evolve, to advance, or just do something different.
To me, it's really none of my business what
there you go.
Where she's at is where she's at, and my position is that I am where I am, and I got to stay in balance with being able to love her where she's at and where I'm at, and without the expectation that she's going to be anything different. I'll pray for her, but see, in my mom's world, I'm a devil going to hell because I don't go to church and I don't believe in the Catholic faith and stuff. So in her reality,
it could be that. It could be that.
She might be going against herself and even
dealing
talking to me.
Right, right. And
so I respect that. I respect that. That's your world and that's where you are. So, we can meet sometimes in the middle and have a conversation for like 5 seconds.
You respect.
Yeah.
You respect.
But it's like I respect her journey and I respect mine.
Yeah.
So, that's what, and this came with tying, sisters and brothers and uncles and aunts and, you make, I remember, I'll never forget the day that my sister slapped my auntie. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like in a Puerto Rican
Was it like
house?
Will Smith and Chris Rock smack? Or was it like a real like MMA? Man, I saw the spit fly and the eyes rolled back and you got a reaction like, oh, that slap was real.
Well, it was definitely not a Will Smith, Chris Rock, because we know that that's some bullshit. That was not real. However, everybody has their own perception.
Okay, going back to the slap.
No, my sister. See,
did you say ooh?
See, and here's what happened, y'all. See, my auntie disrespected the mother.
Oh yeah, somebody got to get slapped. That's like the NIGGER word. You gotta act out.
And the sister of the mother got slapped, and it was okay. Well, it really wasn't okay, but it was okay because it was the mother. You got to protect your mother. And so this is just an example though of what happens when things go awry and there's no balance and there's no understanding of what it is.
Hold on. It has always been understood that if somebody talk about your mama, I don't care if you in church, you go over and drop kick them, or at the least, you punch them in the nose. If they talk about your mama, you don't play with that.
That's what it
is.
That's
understood. So anybody who did, whoever did that, the aunt or the sister, you kind of know that. You're forcing I gotta act out. I gotta physically assault you.
It was a very traumatic moment that I will remember for the rest of my life. It was quite hilarious when you think about it too. But everybody learned their lesson.
Yeah.
So we're different people now. So that is our topic of discussion for today.
Yeah.
We just got in. I'm Minister Oyeyemi. You're with us?
She coming back though. She on her way. I see her coming.
You see her coming?
I see her coming from
Here she is. Greetings.
I saw the gold liquid. Good to have you, Sister OJME. She was just saying she here.
Okay,
that's the DJ.
So I wanna pass the floor yield the floor to anybody that has anything to say about this removing the labels in your life. Have you been able to do it? Have you been able to change the perception of your life through removing these labels with the people in your life, removing, not making allowances and go ahead, Solution.
I was just saying, we had that. But I was just thinking, my question was, does your truth maintain through all your titles that you exist? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what, it's like thinking, do I really exist in my truth as different energies sit amongst me and talk with me, and do I maintain that, or am I totally always manipulating that. You know what I'm saying? So, so I guess that's my question in this. Like, does your truth hold up? You know, and that's big because when you think about our life being pretty much sustained or maintained through our truth. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Minister ready?
I think that titles and labels can cause a lot of manipulation and can make a space for you or opens a space for you depending on where you are as far as knowing yourself to not being your truth, because there's a certain expectation around that title or label. So even with a certain title, you'll feel that you might have to subject yourself to certain things because you feel like, well, that's my mother, or that's my sister, or that's the boss, or whatever this title is that creates this energy of maybe superiority and being bigger than you. That's a big thing also. I can relate to that with my mother as far as that being my mother and you feeling like that's your mother, you know, you want to do everything that your mother wants, however she feels, that wherever her vision was for you to be as you got older, the seeds she planted, how she wanted to see them grow. And of course, that is usually not the situation. We usually go to a different path than maybe our parents have for us. But a lot of times, because this energy of manipulation or this energy of feeling like you have to submit or live according to that vision, you can get caught up in not living your truth and kind of living a truth that was created by your parents. Like my mom wanted me to walk with her in a certain religious path, and that's what her vision was and her dream for me to, you know, be baptized and all of this, but that didn't happen. And I had to, for a long time, it used to bother me because I'm feeling like I'm letting her down, you know, if I'm wrong. But as I actually stood up for my own path and didn't allow the label of her being my mother and that the expectation see on both ends, for the expectation see that she's having that I'm going to be the way she wants me to be, and that's supposed to be best for me, and me having the expectation that I have to be a certain way because I want her to be proud of me. So that removing those labels was very important, and it created a stronger bond between us because we were able to just keep it real with each other. I didn't have to act like I was down with that program. I didn't have to fake. And she could just learn to accept me and actually learn things from me along the way. So it's very powerful.
That's a beautiful thing that you were able to create that with your mom. Smokey, were you what your mom expected for you to be?
I don't think so.
I don't think any of us were.
When she said that, I said that's a big, interesting when she said that, because I was like, man, how many people you pretty much have to be lucky enough that your whatever you want to do is congruent to what your mom and your mom wants you to do. And that you're lucky at least in that, because you don't have to manipulate yourself too much. When you really think about us manipulating ourselves and us being energy, that means that with every single second inch breath, if you take on that manipulation, now you're starting to distort yourself and your energy, and you're becoming uncomfortable, or you're starting to be out of balance.
Not yourself. Yeah.
So that's huge when you think about how much accountable you should be in regards to the maintenance of the environment. But you have to impose yourself and dictate your outline, as opposed to having the environment manipulate you.
Yeah. And the thing is that it's a program to be manipulated in every aspect,
Yes.
from work to
Yes.
your family, all these different things. And it's like the one thing that comes to mind immediately is in families where they groom people to, here, you're going to be married to this person, and this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do in your life. And I think that countries like Germany and China, and there's countries
Those
that
are called arranged
marriages. Yeah.
I think that's done kind of all over the world.
Yeah.
You know.
But the point is
Yes.
that the family creates the
That program.
agenda, and it's like, we're gonna have children for this purpose. They're gonna do this, and that also comes from the slave mentality. It comes from control, and it comes from people. And this is my expression of it. Okay, people of color. When we raise our families, because we have been so suppressed, then that becomes the only thing that we have control over, and we become overly controlling,
hyper,
of that situation, and we try to
understand,
design it because it's the only place that we're going to get that respect.
Right.
Is that we're going to get that honor
Right.
if we force it on you,
Yeah.
and this is where like that mother manipulation.
So you're
and
gonna
stuff
lean
gets
into
bred.
that because it feels
Yeah.
good. You feel in power, and we don't.
And what do mothers say? I'm your mother. Or you're not going to do this for your mother? Oh, yeah. I mean, that
You
mother
gotta
guilt.
do it then.
Look, that mother guilt is that is inbred in
It's
you.
over.
And then when
It's
young
a wrap.
girls have children, oh no, they're like, oh, now I got somebody I could tell what to do. Oh, now I got somebody I could, whatever. And it just keeps going and going.
Yes.
So I yield the floor. Do we have anybody on the panel? I'm going to still. Oyeyemi, did you want to speak on this?
I got one. And if she happens to come on, definitely I'll yield the floor. It was interesting when I was thinking about this because I was thinking, in regards to assessing yourself, or assessing others without it being manipulated. How do you go about doing that? Because oftentimes you deal with people.
Mm-hmm.
You deal with people that are close to you as your mom, dad, just like you deal with people at Wendy's or Walmart or wherever you are.
Right.
And it's interesting how these energies, because we just gonna call them energies, once you rip off the labels, they have the ability to exist the exact same way, but you gonna maintain and handle them in totally different fashions because of the name or label or title that they hold. So when you think about that, it's way interesting, and it definitely gives the ability to assess and move more, I would say, efficient or navigate in a more beneficial manner in regards to, just existence, period.
And the difficulty becomes in removing the label.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, and I can't do that. That's my mom. I can't do that.
All right,
That's my sister. I can't do that. That's my brother.
Right.
And so it really gets to the point of, for yourself, and I would recommend you find your balance through finding God that you find in you. This is not like religious. Well, I'm not going to say that this is not religious talk, because my religion is myself, my self-healing and my journey. That's my religion. But you have to be able to be good with yourself. So you got to figure out, how are you going to address these situations without compromising yourself. I want to put something else on the table real quick, because I know that this is another one that's really heavy in our community, and it's with your job, your employer, and the things that you do for money, right? Because we're living in an age right now where whatever you do is okay as long as you're making money.
That's a big one.
And if somebody has the ability to take something away from you that's going to feed you, then that person is your controller. And we had that experience with the pandemic and all of these things that happened. Those were all things to control people. These are all operations that have been happening to make sure that they still got the power of the people, that they can continue to control people. They recognize that we're in an age of great awakening. They know what time it is. And so they're going to continue their programs to make sure that people get stuck and stay stuck. And this is happening through so many different measures, from your food to the media to, all that stuff. But when it comes to your livelihood, that's your plug into life, right? If you don't got money, then you ain't doing nothing, right? And so when we get to this point, this is why we got to realize, y'all, that we are infinionaires. We are the money. And when you recognize that, you live differently. So you recognize who you are, and you recognize that the source of all is in you, and you have access to that 24/7. It's just a matter of you being right with that. So we're talking about a topic today that's just so, take the labels off, and you're dealing with people by their energy, and being true to yourself when you deal with those situations. So going back to the workforce, I worked in the entertainment industry professionally since I was 16 years old. So I knew that in that industry, you got to suck it up. You got to kiss ass. You got to do what you got to do to make sure that you get seen. You have to
lie on the couch.
You got to lie on that couch. Yep. And if you a woman, they got to try you out first.
Let them slap your name.
Hey, let them do whatever. And if it's for,
me too the wrong way. Me too. No.
And if you are in that world,
right,
it becomes okay to do all those things because you making money. Oh, the president?
Yeah.
Like you? Oh, wait. Oh, you part of the Beehive said it's
Wyclef cool?
What?
You kicking it with Clef?
Oh, my goodness.
Man.
People make so many allowances for celebrities, for the people that have these labels, these titles, the motherfucking president. Yeah, look, who y'all call the president? I'm not saying, I don't even want to insult y'all and say y'all is here, because if you're listening to this right here, you probably are in the minority. And you recognize that the ruler of the world is the Most High, the Creator, whatever you want to call that source. But it sure ain't no man here on this planet. However, those labels that we put on people, especially the celebrities are now like the gods. You say something, there's a movie on Netflix. Smokey, did you see it? Swarm? It's supposed to be a loose story about like the Beehive and the whole Beyonce thing.
Amazon Prime, right? Was that Amazon Prime?
I can't remember where it's on Netflix.
Man,
I don't know.
Deep, man. That was scary.
And it was showing you exactly how it is for fanatics and that fanatic behavior. That program. And that program is directly connected to the labels that they put upon people so that they redirect you. What they're doing, I don't know how many of you guys have seen the Renaissance tour that Beyonce did, but it was a huge event that was happening for the purpose of what is happening on the planet. I can't really speak on it specifically because you already know that they're shutting things down. And this podcast today is on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all of these different platforms. So we're only going to speak about those things in private. We know that we are not, we're not speaking in private right now. So I'm not going to give anybody reason to keep tagging and taking off the things that we do and the things that we talk about. But the entertainment industry, those labels that have controlled the masses are the biggest ones. There are people who you know how we talked about the mama? Right. You don't say nothing about the mama. But now if the mama says something about Beyonce, we got a problem.
Yeah, that might get your mama in trouble. If your mama says something, you might be it might be tough. If your mama would have started talking when they're supposed to be quiet during the concert, she might have got drop kicked. Yeah. She might have took one to the head.
I think so. And if your mama talk about Obama, don't you talk about Obama. That was the first black bill. Don't you talk about him.
Don't you be talking about him.
That was the first one, Smokey.
Wasn't he the one that said, you got to be willing to manipulate the masses?
Look.
But anyway, we're not going to talk about that without them knowing for their own good. But we're not going to talk about that because that's on another show. And that's where we're going to go. Anyway. Just removing the labels, though. That's what we back on. Was you done with that one?
I'm Minister Oyeyemi got the floor.
I sit down.
I have never been one to conform to anything.
my mother had called me rebellious my whole life. So I didn't wear labels. I didn't care what people, I have my own way of living. I'm even in the church. I'll never forget. My mother said I embarrassed her so bad because the preacher said something. I'm like, well, I don't believe that. How can God punish? If you say God is this all-loving being, there's no way that this all-loving being can punish you. So when we got home,
Ooh, that was a good point.
My mother talked about me. I didn't care. I said, well, I don't believe it, and you can't make me believe it. And so if that's the God you serve, I won't serve that God because I don't believe that.
Ooh.
I've never been one to conform to any label. I don't allow people to put labels on me. So my whole life, I've always been the one outside of my family doing the ancestral work and all, the altars.
How old were you when you said this to your mama?
Oh, I was about 12. I could not, to me, I couldn't have, the conception of being this purpose or this being supposed to be all loving, how could this being punish you? Where is that coming from?
Did you get a whooping?
Those are two different things.
Did you get a whooping though?
So I never, huh?
Did you get a whooping for doing that, for saying that?
No, she just was, I was so embarrassed.
Wow. I gotta give you props on that one.
Oh wait, I
gotta give up my own applause, man.
I was so embarrassed. Well, explain that to me, because I asked him. Explain it to me. Explain to me how you could be loving on this end, but unjustifiable on the other end, and that you're jealous. How does that work? I didn't understand that. So I kept asking. So yeah, I was a heathen. I was everything. But I didn't care. Even in corporate America, I didn't allow them to decide who I was.
The family in the chat,
now, was
Jameson
I
Beverly
successful
says,
according to the corporate world? Yeah, but I didn't wear those labels. We can choose what labels we wear. Now, was life easy for me and my family? No. Even now, I keep telling people, I live in a house full of Christians, so I'm the only one calling on my ancestors. So can you imagine what that's like?
I can imagine.
But I refuse to allow them to stop. My sister said, well, I was having problems with my eyes, and they had turned red. My sister said, well, you know what? When you told your brother that you didn't believe in Jesus, your eyes turn red. You might not want to hear that, but it's always something. They in the morning, their gospel is playing out loud. I don't care. They pray all times a day. I don't care. Do what you need to do, but I'm going to do what's best for me.
Look.
And this is a courage-filled journey here to say, whatever label you decide for me is not the label I decide for myself. I'm serious at a young age, and I'm telling you, when I got 13, I told my mother, I'm not going to church anymore.
Mm.
You can whoop me. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm not going anymore. I can't. I don't believe that.
She went like Denzel in Glory. She wasn't going to have it. She was like, look, I'm willing to take whatever you going to serve to me, but I ain't going back to that place.
Jameson Beverly says,
I'm not going.
Look, our Minister Jameson says that she been an OG since she was 12.
Ooh. JBZ. That is real OGZ.
He says you got to go to the root to deal with the energy. For 99% of humans left, that hurts too much. Interesting.
Oh,
yeah.
I agree. It's to make that pivot. I mean, just to think to go against what you have defined or what is defined in your consciousness. I'm not even just saying your mother. I'm just saying just to make a change, just for yourself. It's going to be some challenge. It's going to be some discomfort. You know what I'm saying? I remember I used to think you have to do what you've never done to go where you've never been.
Yes.
I was like, so yeah, I stand down. You got something or?
No, Yemi, are you complete?
Well, I got one more thing to say. My mother took ill and I would go and help out. My brother came to pick me up, and he had a lot of road rage. I'm just sitting there, I'm just looking at him right now. You serving God, and you serving Jesus, and you playing this gospel music, and you cursing people out while you driving. So he kept saying, "What you believe in?" I said, "Well, you shouldn't really ask me that." So he came to pick me up the next weekend. I would go every weekend. He said, "What you believe in?" I said, "You shouldn't really ask me that." So the third time he picked me up, he asked me, I said, "I don't believe in Jesus." You know what?
Did he kick you out the car?
In Jesus. Our mama trained us to believe in Jesus. I believe in Jesus. I don't. Jesus doesn't exist. It's a fictitious character. He turned that music up loud. And he could not wait to get me to my mother's house. He called all my siblings and told them about what I believed in. So I've always been the one that's been ostracized. And I'm okay with that. Yes, Lord.
That's it. Thank you for that.
Yes, I think that it's a good thing in all phases from both sides. I think that those who choose to make the choice to invest in Jesus and in whatever your spiritual path is, I choose to respect and honor it, and not to say, you're incorrect.
Right.
For me.
And and that's the whole thing. Because, okay, so now let's spread it into that world of religion, where it's like, I know it's so funny because I was telling Smokey today that everybody that knows me knows that I had issues with Jesus because of Catholicism, because of what, right. And so I went on my own journey, and in my own journey, I discovered that Jesus is a consciousness, is an energy that came, and it was described as the so-called Jesus, but that was also Zeus, that was also Buddha. That was also, so for me, it was just always easy to reflect to things as energy, right. And removing the labels was really important. Yeah. And in removing those labels, I also recognized that other people did have a difficulty in removing the labels and identifying with what that is. So they would get offended because Jesus is like the mama.
Program.
Yeah. And so you say something about she said, he told the whole family. And I mean, if it was another situation, you was going to get put on the rod and your ass was going to get whooped.
Wait a minute. Here's what that we always say, which is so funny. We say that everyone has their limit. Okay, there have been times that I remember I was talking with someone and man, they was giving me, I was love. I was the best thing since sliced bread. Like, I was vibing. I was in that.
She loved you. I remember.
Was in that, and then I fooled around and said I could agree with something that a gentleman said on a video about science and well-being and existing in beneficial energy, and she was like, "Oh, you are now the devil. You cannot have a connection with God." And she started spitting Bible verses at me. I was like, "Oh, I'm in trouble. I'm getting it's and I was like, I couldn't even stop her. I mean, she started Matthew 33, 15, 72. I thought she was calling out football players. I was about to line up. I was like, I'm about to. She was Luke 17, 32. Genesis 13. I was like, and I was like, man, the program hit hard.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm laughing about it, but I respect that because at the end of the day, her investment in what that is. Hey, if she get in the ring and she fight that fight, she gonna do the best she can do because she is invested 100%.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I wasn't mad at her about, her expression or where she has chosen to give her.
And here's the point of that, and that we have to recognize when it comes to science and the power of mind and thought, right?
Vibration.
Whatever a person focuses on becomes their reality. So who am I to say that you're not going to meet Jesus when you pass?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you've created that image and you've created that consciousness to be together, tied in that becomes your reality.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And you will meet that destiny. You will meet that what you have created.
Right.
And so what happens is that we all have this passion about what we believe in.
Right.
And then when we get that light in us, we all do the same thing that people do when they go to church and they get saved.
Right.
We start talking to people about it. That's the righteous way. This is the way to do it. Because look at what it's done in my life.
Right.
And look at what it's making me feel. You know, don't you want to feel like me? And now all of that is being turned into, who are you? What do you believe? And what feels right to you? Because that's what you got to go by. Because you can't bring anybody to where you're at. So you got to figure out where you are and allow for the nature to do what it does. And that means that your vibrational frequency is going to align with others that vibrate in that same frequency. When you are out of alignment, you are going to exist in a place of energy that's out of balance. That's where we have been for most of our lives. We have been in a very unbalanced planet. And that imbalance is getting to everyone. Everybody's feeling it. But everybody thinks that the solution is, okay, I'm at this guru over here telling me this. Oh, look, they got this car. They got this.
Rick Rubin said.
They must be doing it right. Oh, let me listen to what so-and-so's doing.
Oh,
I remember.
He got on them shoes with the red bottoms and his hat got that red. I know he know what he talking.
These images of celebrities and people that have the look of sanity or peace or balance, that's going to have people jacked up forever.
Great
because those are images. You can catch an image in 1 second. Like I can go online and I can see moments in time, and people take those moments and they create their own idea of what it is. And it's so funny because it's like they start giving their energy to those ideas of other people, completely neglecting yourself. Now you're spending 24 hours a day giving energy to another person's illusion, another person's idea of what it is. And then you're spending time getting mad because you're not there where you think they are, that they're not even really there, but that's what you think.
The Housewives of Salt Lake.
Oh, all the housewives, look, all y'all housewives.
It's everything. The Dallas Cowboys, what's my man who? Yeah. Anyway,
let me read.
It's interesting. Oh, go ahead. You got something?
I'm going to suggest. Jameson Beverly says, "LOL. Hey, we got the truth though. They even hate it. Why am I trying to? Smokey, can I borrow your eyes, please? Y'all, I gotta do some sun gazing or something. Okay. We got the truth though. They even hated Jesus. They hated Jesus for being a real nagga. So any Christian that don't like me, they shouldn't. But like sis said, they shouldn't step to us and their feelings won't get hurt. You know what I tell people, and some people may get offended by it, but I be telling people, I am Jesus. Like, I am. For so long, they were saying, I heard the term, what is it? What would Jesus do? Would Jesus do what I'm doing because I'm Jesus? How about that?
I guess for me, too, I just choose to not even get into that anyway. It's interesting because I go back to Menace to Society when my man, what was his name? When Rock, yeah, I don't know his character. I always know people by who he is on TV.
Yeah.
Rock said, he's talking about his son Akeem, and he said, well, if Allah can get Akeem to be a man in this society, then that is well with me, and Allah it is, and I have no problem. And I was like, that makes sense, because it's like whatever someone chooses to believe is interesting when you think about it. I played on teams where people totally into their Bible, and that inspiration just drives them to accomplish incredible feats. So that was great for that was their game plan. You know what I'm saying? Then I have a person over here who was into they thing. So it's like, hey, whatever is working for you, if it's not impeding or trespassing on someone else, hey man, go after it. Go get it.
And I will just say this as a disclaimer, and I say it on other past podcasts as well. I've always had an issue with the Bible because the Bible was given to the slaves to read when they weren't allowed to have education. And I was suspect. That was suspect to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all could enjoy the Bible and have church, but y'all can't learn how to read and all this. So
they can read the Bible.
That was always
Yeah,
a sign
that was
for
a
me
challenge.
that, and in my adulthood, the one that I love, Smoke, y'all know what that is, A Metaphysical Interpretation of the Bible by Stephen L. Harefield, really like took it to another level. But what took it to the beginning of everything for me was the Kabbalion. And the Kabbalion is a simple book, and it talks about it's the laws of Ma'at, but it's even in a more condensed situation because it's what everything sprung from. And these are things that a person has to go in that path so that they could recognize what their own truth is. You know, we live in a world where we've been fed everything. I mean, Jehovah Witness, baptism, Catholic, Santeria, voodoo, everything under the sun. But where are you?
Yeah.
What do you believe in? Yeah. What do you stand on? What are you reflecting? Because, see, we also have to recognize that these people that go by the labels, they've been doing a hard time. They've been doing hard work and keeping that mask on. But that mask is off now. And so now everybody is seeing things for what they are. And now you can't blame a religion or a person or for your situation. Because guess what? The universe recognizes your energy, and when you are vibrating in a certain frequency, the universe is not going to say, oh, well, you know, she didn't know no better, so we're going to go ahead and put her on this frequency over here
automatically. Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
It's no
Ignorance
excuse.
of the law is no excuse.
And that's the truth. That's why you got to vibrate it. You can't fake it.
I always thought to myself when I started to just realize how many religions that exist, I just couldn't be disrespectful and say, this one right here has to know everything completely whole and that's it. It has to be that. You know, I just couldn't do that. Yeah. For me, I just couldn't do that. Not disrespecting anybody else or not saying anybody's wrong. It was just very challenging by the time we started moving into that for me to say, oh, that gotta be all of the complete information that is needed to be successful or beneficial in this.
And I would say at this point in the conversation, anybody that's listening to this broadcast and feels disrespected, you got to check yourself. Check yourself and find out why you are feeling disrespected. Where is that disrespect coming from? Where's that stemming from? Like, why is this taking you out of your space and making you feel in a low vibration? You got to figure that out. So
we spoke to Most High and said that we are going to exist in complete freedom and respect of all.
Absolutely.
So no one should know.
What are you saying? No one should. Of course, people listen to this. Some people hate listen. Did you know that?
That's true.
And they'll listen just to see what we're doing over here.
You know what's interesting? That's what the I believe that is the supporting or the building block in this discussion about names, titles, and it's about ultimately love. And is love a complete term in how we determine or love each other or even love ourselves? You know what I mean? It's like as we manipulate the definition of love, then that skews or manipulates everything beyond that, because everything is assessed.
That's a whole nother topic on love. And I will just say briefly, for me, love is a vibrational frequency. And it has no verbal description. It is a feeling. And when you are in that vibration, you feel it. You know that it's love because of how it feels. And people have misconstrued that. And, like, oh, love is pain and love is... No, that's an oxymoron. Because love is love. So it can't be pain. People like to attach, love to things so that they can manipulate other people's energy. If you love me, you'll do this. If you love me, this wouldn't be like that. And so people, we've all been guilty of using love in manipulation. I can't even say that I've never done it.
Well, it's not defined, like we talk about, it's not defined completely. I forgot what the definition is, but when you think of somebody saying they love you, immediately, if you love me, then we should be able to talk about things that are challenging me, that are
that's your
challenging
perception.
you, that are love should have the ability to exist beyond challenge, and that's when you really see, when you start to talk about these intimate or very thought-provoking or intense topics, you really see how much love really exists, and that can really be very eye-opening, like profound.
Oh yeah.
Whoa, we wasn't close at all.
Yeah.
I can't tell you I don't like your shoestrings. It's like,
yeah. Well, yeah, that's how it is. We'll definitely be talking about love at some point. Want to thank everybody for being on the panel today. I'm Minister Oyeyemi. I'm Minister Reddy. I'm Minister Jameson. That's in the chat. I'm Minister Doris. I'm Minister Smokadocious. Thank you so much for hosting us and being here. Yes. The whole what we're doing with Woosah Wednesday, that this is like the revamp, is you're getting to have an experience with people that are mastering their own lives. We are not claiming to be the master of your life, the master of this, the master of that. Is our own self-healing. And for those of you that want some assistance with that, we have a Woosah that happens in the evening. It's a small group Woosah, with 12 people is the limit, and you can connect even deeper with one of our Master Vibration 13 practitioners in your journey, wherever you are. So if you would like to participate in that, mastervibration13.com is where you can come. If you have any questions about it, you can send a text to 818-233-5776 and text Woosah and your question, and somebody will get back to you within 24 hours. And if you are interested in assisting this vision moving forward, you can send a donation to $, S as in Sam, EG as in grateful, the number 13, the word love, that's on Cash App. And you could put, if it's for Woosah Wednesday, we have a lot of different things going on that we're building on, so you can be specific in your donation. If you are interested in donating crystals, metals, services, different things like that, you can just send a text with what it is that you're wanting to exchange, and we'll, get back with you with that. Minister Jameson Beverly says, y'all are inspiring, man. Everything. I'm driving Uber. I love you, Minister Jameson. It's a great and fantastic time, and I have come out of my hibernation. It's been a long time. This was been weird for me to just come out like this. We're on this Infinity mission on a tour. We are traveling the world. Those of you that know us personally may know where we are located. Those that know. Those that don't, you see us when you see us, but you'll feel us everywhere. Solution, we got a ending, but before we go to the ending, what we're closing out with, Smokadocious, will you please do us the honor?
Thank you so very much. I so appreciate this. I'm going to say a little prayer that I've always said. It's very unchangeable, but it's very enforceful. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God is with us. Where we are, God is, and so it is.
And so it is. Ache. We're going to leave you guys with a little something, and we're going to be picking up Music Mondays again with independent artists. So we're going to be leaving you. Listen to the lyrics. Listen to the words of this. This is Chasin'. And who's the artist on this puppet? Cairo King Kali Shaki. Oh, see. Is Mercury on retrograde? Mm-hmm. I think Mercury is in retrograde like every day, though.
Yeah,
so
me too.
It don't even matter.
Aspect of it, yeah.
Oh, your thing ain't working? Okay, I got you. All right, no, we're gonna. It's not coming out of your speaker. Oh.
Don't care what they say, not changing the pace. Working too hard to be last in the race. So much time in the day, and it ain't on the waste. Working this hard to be one of the greats.
Yeah, we got to give it to you, Red. I know that sounded a little slurry, but I'm gonna play it from here.
Between me and the next level of elevation, perseverance, the art of dedication. What now? We on the chase to the sun, yeah. We on the chase to the sun, no. What's up? Leading the loud when we run up, chasing, chasing, chasing. Every day we chasing, chasing, chasing. No time to be wasting. Gracias,
Ache.
everyone. Adios.
Oh.